Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy LastChanceFPS, or you guys can call me Chance. And in this video, guys, I'm going to be doing the Call of Duty tier list maker of ranking all of the different Call of Duties based on my personal opinions in 5 different categories of GOAT, amazing, pretty good, and hot trash. I bet a lot of you have probably seen this similar thing from other people, whether or not it's on social media or YouTube, whatever it might be. I've seen a ton of people doing this. I've probably seen like 12 to 15 lists myself, but I'm going to be doing my little different variation or twist of this. For the most part, I've only seen people doing this listing or rankings, whatever you want to call it, based on only the multiplayer side of things. But I'm actually going to be also factoring the game as a whole, so it's single player or campaign mode, and also its third mode, whether or not it's like zombies or battle royale. I'm going to actually be factoring all of this in the different rankings, because I feel like that's also important in Call of Duty, because there's more to Call of Duty than just a multiplayer. It has the whole package as a sense, so that's why I'm going to be factoring in. But if you guys actually go on to enjoy this video, because I think it's going to be a little bit longer, because I have a lot of different things to say, whether or not if I actually liked it, why I didn't, and all that stuff being said, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you guys never miss a future video here on my channel. And also, if you guys go on to enjoy this ranking video, definitely drop a like and comment down below what your guys rankings are. I'm definitely curious to see why you guys have what Call of Duty's ranked, what you guys might agree, disagree, all that stuff. I want to see it in the comments down below. All of your guys' support is greatly appreciated here on this video. And if you guys do want to follow along with me in this ranking video, I will have this specific tier list maker linked down in the description down below, so like I said, you guys can follow along. But yeah, guys, with all that stuff being said, let's hop into this ranking. First off, I did put all of the Call of Duties in the bottom, kind of in order of the games being released, because I kind of want to see where it started out, in my opinion, and where it is now, and kind of like the variations and whatnot. But really quickly to start off, COD 4, I didn't actually play this game when it came out. I was only 8 years old at the time. I just wasn't playing video games that much as a whole. I kind of wasn't brought up as a family of playing video games. I don't have older siblings or anything. I pretty much only played sports at the time as a child, so I didn't play COD 4. I did go back and play the single player for the most part, and obviously it was remastered with Modern Warfare Remastered, and I thought the campaign was amazing. The multiplayer side of things was obviously very nostalgic, but I feel like the only thing I wouldn't put it in the GOAT category is that it had a lot of broken things, in my opinion, like the M16 with red dot, and the stopping power was just arguably the most broken gun of all time, and also the sniping was just kind of broken. Like, you could quickscope really easy in that game. I'm going to put it in the amazing category. I thought as a whole the game was pretty damn good, but like I said, for a couple reasons, I'm not going to put it in the GOAT category. It did kind of kick off the Call of Duty multiplayer like kind of side of the game in terms of it being a popular Twitch shooter. But again, it just had a couple factors I didn't like. Also, it only having a 3, 5, and 7 streak kind of didn't have the most variation. It just kind of kicked off the multiplayer side of things. So I kind of had a lot of things to say about COD 4. I'm going to stick with it in the amazing side, not GOAT. But again, it was pretty nostalgic, so I definitely can understand that argument. Next up, we had Call of Duty World at War, kind of Treyarch's first good Call of Duty, kind of like COD 4, kind of kicking off the franchise on the multiplayer side of things. It did have some problems in terms of it not being the most balanced Call of Duty, because I remember like the MP40 with like the drum mag or whatever was like the only gun people were using. The streaks again were pretty damn good. It didn't have the most variations by any means. The maps were pretty damn good, like COD 4, like I forgot to mention, so it did have that. The biggest thing with COD World at War for me was that I did remember playing the zombies a little bit, like my friend's house and whatnot. The zombies I thought was amazing. It kind of kicked off also the zombie side of things, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And then obviously the single player was amazing. So again, I'm going to put it in the amazing category. If it had a little bit more variation, I would put it in the GOAT. But again, I just have to stick with my ranking in the amazing side of things. Next up, we have MW2, arguably the best Call of Duty of all time. Like, I always see people making the argument, even though it was arguably also the most broken Call of Duty of all time. I did not partake in this game when it first released, whatever you want to call it. I did play it a couple times. I went back like when it was modded and whatnot. It seemed like a fun game. I definitely see the argument for it. The single player, which I did play, was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed that. But honestly, besides that, the game did have a lot of flaws, but I just feel like the game was so fun and just nostalgic, and just so many people loved it. I'm going to put it in the GOAT category. I think MW2 is the first best Call of Duty, whatever you want to call it, that kind of released in the franchise. And just kind of building off of this game, it just kind of had that like GOAT feeling. Like a lot of people thoroughly enjoyed this game, so I'm gonna put it in the GOAT category and just leave it at that. I don't really think there's an argument not to put it in the GOAT category. Next up, we have Black Ops 1, an amazing game as a whole. Again, I remember playing the zombies. I wasn't playing Call of Duty yet, so I don't have a whole lot to say about the multiplayer. I do remember playing it a little bit when they made it backwards compatible on the Xbox One. So I did play a little bit there, and I thought it was definitely a fun game. But again, there was no nuke, which MW2 kind of kicked off and just added that to the game, which was amazing to go for. So a lot of things I did enjoy about Black Ops 1. Again, the single player was amazing. Can't forget that. But honestly, even though I didn't play the multiplayer side of things when it first came out, I'm going to have to put it in the GOAT category. I think they had back-to-back GOAT Call of Duties in a sense. I just thought Black Ops 1 was amazing, and honestly, I just felt like the game as a whole was just really, really good. So I'm going to put it in the GOAT category with MW2. Next up, we have MW3. Funny enough, this was actually the first Call of Duty in the franchise that I actually got to participate in when the game released, because I remember at the time I was 12 years old in 6th grade, and I was sitting at a lunch table at school with all my friends on the basketball team, and one day they were just talking about Call of Duty and all of them playing together in a party on the Xbox. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what's Call of Duty? And they kind of told me all about it. Like, I knew what Xbox and like the PS3 was, but at the time I was only playing like the DS with like Pokemon and whatnot, and also the Wii. So honestly, I really didn't know about Call of Duty that much, but honestly, talking about it with my friends, they kind of got me into the franchise. And I do remember getting it the Christmas after it came out, so like 3 or 4 months after it came out, whatever it might be. It was an amazing game. Even though I was terrible at the game, I thought it was super fun. I remember only playing Infected on multiplayer, so honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say, even though I did kind of play like TDM and Domination, all the other modes kind of later in the game. But again, the single player was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then the Spec Ops, I didn't really play too much, but between the single player and how much fun I had in the multiplayer, even though I do have a lot of nostalgia with this game, I just think there was a lot of things I also didn't like, so I'm going to leave it in the pretty good category. The sniping was just way too rampant in that game. I remember getting quickscoped off of Moab streaks way too often, which really pissed me off. Everybody spammed the MP7 and ACR in that game, so I feel like there wasn't as much variations. The streaks were amazing though, and also the maps were pretty damn good for the most part, so I definitely remember that. But honestly, I feel like it definitely belongs in at least the pretty good, and I think it could even make the argument of being amazing. But again, I'm going to stick with my thing of putting it in the pretty good side of things, being my first Call of Duty actually participating in. Black Ops 2, again, was the first Call of Duty that kind of got me into like the whole like YouTube and Twitch side of things, because I remember playing the game. I don't actually remember buying the game when it first came out, because at the time I didn't understand the COD cycle of games coming out every single year. So again, I bought the game like the Christmas later, like a couple months after it came out. So again, I didn't play at release. But again, Black Ops 2 was so fun as a whole game that it got me into like the YouTube like pump stomping side of things, and like even like streamers that streamed the game back in the day. The zombies was top tier, arguably the best zombie game of all time. All the DLC maps were amazing. I remember playing with all my friends, going for high rounds or doing the Easter eggs and all that good stuff. The single player was obviously amazing, which was just another added plus of the game. Black Ops 2 is easily in the GOAT category of Call of Duties for me. I feel like Black Ops 2 is the only Call of Duty I actually got to participate in its prime that is in the discussion of being a GOAT Call of Duty, and I just don't see an argument against it. Like, Black Ops 2 was just an amazing game for all aspects and all different type of players. So honestly, Black Ops 2, a phenomenal game. I definitely miss playing that game, and it's kind of sad to see that pretty much if you went back to play it now, you would only get into like modded lobbies and whatnot, which is kind of unfortunate, but that's just how old Call of Duties work. But again, Black Ops 2 in the GOAT tier for me. Next up, we have Call of Duty Ghost, and Call of Duty Ghost for me is a very nostalgic game, because like I said, Call of Duty Ghost is the first Call of Duty I actually got to participate in the whole midnight release, going, skipping school the next day, playing Call of Duty all night, just learning the game, going for like high kill streaks and like chem strikes at the time and whatnot. Call of Duty Ghosts for me was just so much fun. And even though at the time of the game being out, so many people hated on the game, which honestly I kind of understand what they came from, because there was so many things bad about this game, which I'll list off. Horrible maps, like 90% of the maps were terrible, unplayable, whatever you want to call it. Most of the streaks were terrible. The support package streaks were really annoying. The specialist was all right, I will give it that, but honestly there was just so many things that Call of Duty Ghosts did wrong that I totally understand where it came from. But for me, just kind of like the details and like the nostalgia to the game for me, and just so many things that I actually remember playing from this game, I have to put it in the pretty good Call of Duty, because for me, I didn't really struggle with this game too much. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed the weapons in the game, and even though a lot of people hated the fast time to kill, I think that kind of just came in with the game having really good hit detection. And I just remember going for like chem strikes all the time. This was the first Call of Duty I got like a really good gameplay. I got a double chem strike playing in only a 2-man party. Call of Duty Ghosts just for me has so many awesome memories, and even though there was a lot of bad things with this game, for me, I have to put it in the pretty good, because this is the first Call of Duty that I actually was like truly addicted. I remember hitting Master Prestige like 6 months into this game. There was just so many things I loved about Call of Duty Ghosts. So for me, with all of these newer Call of Duties kind of like making the game franchise look really bad, I feel like kind of also helped boost this game up. But again, I'm going to leave it in the pretty good. I had a lot to say about Call of Duty Ghosts. I'm just realizing that now. But again, Call of Duty Ghosts, pretty good Call of Duty for me. Next up, we have Advanced Warfare. Honestly, I don't know why, but I've been seeing a lot of people put this game in like the pretty good category. I could not disagree with you guys anymore. For me, Advanced Warfare is the epitome of hot trash. Advanced Warfare for me, in my humbled opinion, is the worst Call of Duty ever released. And I will briefly go over why I think that. Easily my number one thing, I hated the skill-based matchmaking. The skill-based matchmaking was so thick and just rough in this game that I felt like I was playing 6 other me's every single game. It was completely annoying. I could not stand it. This game added in the whole boost jumping like innovation type to the Call of Duty that honestly I never asked for. It was way too chaotic and clunky, and I just felt like it was really hard to like have consistency in the game with everybody boost jumping around like madmen. Completely hated that. Another thing I really hated about this game was the whole pay to win supply drops thing, which again, this game also added in the whole microtransaction like pay to win supply drop crap in Call of Duty. Could not stand that. I did not spend any money on the supply drops, even though I wanted to get the amazing pay to win guns, which I never did get because the odds were completely against you. Again, the maps was another thing I thought was okay, but for the most part, I really didn't like any of the maps for the most part. And then also the streaks was annoying because you had to put on certain attachments on streaks to like actually make them good, which was really frustrating for me because that's just not something I want to have to worry about. And again, kind of like the other factors in that I forgot to mention about Ghost, the single player was not that good. I don't remember liking that pretty much at all. And then also the exo zombies was terrible. The game as a whole was just terrible. I hated the game, and I had to stoop so low in Advanced Warfare to actually have fun in the game that I actually remember buying God accounts or reverse boosted accounts from Twitter. If you guys remember that, then you guys are definitely OGs in that game. But it was pathetic. Like, looking back on it, I should never have done that. It was just really dumb that I had to buy accounts just to actually have fun playing the game. Like, nah, man, like that's pathetic. I hated that. Again, Advanced Warfare is the epitome of a hot trash Call of Duty. I think it is the worst Call of Duty of all time. I do not miss this game, and if you guys have it anything above hot trash, then honestly, I don't know what the hell you guys are thinking. That's just my humble opinion. I hated that game, and I am moving on because just even talking about this game is completely pissing me off. So I am moving on, guys, which then brings us over to Black Ops 3. And honestly, even though Black Ops 3 wasn't the best game of all time, I'm going to have to put it in the pretty good category. And the reason for that is because even though I completely hated the single player mode of the game, I really enjoyed the multiplayer side of things, even though again it kind of had a horrible like pay to win like supply drop like DLC weapon type thing, which I barely got any weapons from. The multiplayer was definitely playable. It had the VSAT. It had really good like assault kill streaks, so you could go for like high kill games. Pub stopping was actually very doable in this game, and I actually remember going for a lot of like nuclears and like high kill games and all that good stuff. And honestly, for me, I just feel like Black Ops 3 was actually definitely playable. I remember hitting Master Prestige like level like 1 or 200 or something on the multiplayer. And I even enjoyed the zombies so much in this game that I also hit like Prestige Master level like 100 something in the zombies. So I was Prestige Master in 2 modes. And I just remember playing the crap out of the game. Like, again, going back to zombies, I remember going for all the Easter eggs, while the DLC maps, those were awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed those. And even though the multiplayer DLC wasn't that good, it was definitely something fresh to play. And I just felt like between those 2 modes, I definitely thought it was a pretty good Call of Duty. And it was just fun to go for high kills and all that good stuff. So again, I'm going to stick with it in the pretty good. Again, I just played the crap out of this game, so I have a lot of memories with that game. So I'm going to leave it in the pretty good side of things for me. Next up, we have Infinite Warfare. Another game which I really didn't like. So again, I'm gonna have to put it in the hot trash, guys. Again, I've seen some people even putting Infinite Warfare in the pretty good side of things. Like, I do not understand. That blows my mind. There's just so many things, again, I did not like about this game. Most of the maps were terrible. The campaign I did not like, even though some people did like. So honestly, that's just kind of personal opinion, obviously, but I did not like the campaign at all. The zombies, the exo like cartoonish zombies that they had was really dumb. I hated that. I remember playing like 1 game and I'd never played it again. And honestly, the multiplayer was borderline unplayable for me because it had they had a whole bunch of variants of weapons. And even though I wanted to go for DNA bombs at the time, you had to run a specific variant of a gun just to even be able to get a DNA bomb. Like, or not a DNA bomb, whatever the nuclear was, or the bomb, or whatever it called, the special kill streak. That just blew my mind. Like, that was dumb. I hated that. There was just, again, so many things I didn't like about the game. I will admit the kind of like craft system they had where you could unlock it, I thought was a pretty good idea and in the right direction. But honestly, for the most part, I did not like Infinite Warfare. I think it is hot trash for me. Next up, we have Call of Duty World War II. Even though Call of Duty World War II had the worst midnight release I have ever played in the first 6 months of the game being borderline unplayable, the last back 9 or 6 months of the game was actually really, really good once they fired Glenn Schofield and Michael Condrey and brought in like the new staff for the Sledgehammer side of things. They actually made the game really playable, and I'm kind of sad that I kind of quit at the game before they made this switch. But the only thing that actually saved me playing this game on the multiplayer side of things was actually the war game mode. The war game mode alone, I actually played so much that I actually got to Prestige Master just playing that one mode for the most part. And honestly, I did not like the single player that much. I thought it was okay, like it was definitely playable, but it wasn't anything special. And I hated the zombies in this game, which was the 3rd mode. So honestly, between all that and factoring that in, and then also COD World War II kind of having like okay, like subpar maps and like the streaks being okay. Again, COD World War II for me is just kind of like an game. Like, I wouldn't say it's hot trash. If they never made the back 9 of this game better or really, really good to what it is now, I would put it in the hot trash. But for me, I'm going to put it in the side things. I really don't have a whole lot to say about that game, but it was definitely okay for the time I did play it. And then the final game we have to rank is Black Ops 4, obviously the newest Call of Duty in the franchise. And for me, again, I'm going to put it in the A category. And the reason for that is because even though it didn't have a single player, and it did iterate a Blackout Battle Royale mode, that was pretty much like the only thing I played in this game. I did not play the multiplayer that much. I played like 2 days of it after coming out and then hated it because I could not stand the high time to kill in that game. That just completely ruined it for me. Like, I just like Call of Duty where I actually shoot someone and they die. So I hated the multiplayer side of things for the most part. But Blackout mode, like I said, was definitely good for the most part. Like, I played that for like 5 or 6 months. Obviously, you guys know I uploaded a lot of Blackout on my channel. And then also the zombies in this game was completely terrible. The zombies community as a whole pretty much died out because it did not build off of what Black Ops 3 actually did right. So honestly, the zombies was terrible. So if it wasn't for the Blackout mode, I would put it in the hot trash. But the Blackout mode was definitely pretty good and arguably still the best BR mode to play at least on console, because I don't think Apex Legends is that good and then PUBG is not good on console. So if you actually want to play a battle royale that's good and you're on console, like I said, play Blackout. That's actually the one thing I do like about this game. So I'm going to put it in the A category for the time I did play it. And that is going to conclude my list, guys. This video has been going on for almost 20 minutes now. I had a lot to say about all these Call of Duties. This is my final rankings. I'm really curious to see what you guys have for your list, because like I said, there's a lot of different things you guys can factor in what makes a Call of Duty good. And I hope this video kind of gave you a different perspective, because like I said, I've only seen people rankings on the multiplayer side of things, but I'm like, well, what about the campaign? What about the zombies or Blackout? Like, there's other things to factor in with a Call of Duty. There's more to it than just multiplayer, unless you guys only play multiplayer, but I don't know. So like I said, if you guys wanted to enjoy this video and you guys stuck around all to the very end, I greatly appreciate that. But if you guys aren't into the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you guys never miss a future video here on my channel. And then also click that like button and comment down below, like I said, your guys' rankings. I'm definitely curious to see what you guys have to say, whether or not if you guys agree with my list or disagree. Comment all that stuff down below. I will definitely be reading all of your guys' comments. I will also have all my Twitch and social medias linked down in the description down below if you guys haven't already followed me on those. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video.